My name is Elizabeth Wendell. I'm a senior project designer at Rios Clemente Hale, and I build very large urban scale buildings that are at the center of the city, technology, and culture. So today I'm talking about mobility, but really we have a livability crisis in Los Angeles, which we don't have affordable buildings and we also don't have great mobility, and they're inextricably linked. And they're basically a geometric problem in our city. We don't have an effective use of our space. We have public land and that we use for the streets, but we don't use it in a great way. So here's the next slide. So 14% of LA is parking. And in my work as an architect, one of the things that we always run into is that we have to provide minimally 600 square feet of parking for every 1,000 square feet that we build. So you can look at that and say that 40% of everything that we're building is just parking. So what does this mean in terms of how we're living in the city? Well, it's not just the private land that we're affecting. We're also affecting the streets. So here you can see 50 people on bicycles, in cars, and on a bus. So clearly the bus is the most effective way of getting around the city. You can move most people in the least amount of space. But if we look at cars, which is our predominant way of transportation in the city, we have to also look at the fact that 40,000 people a year are killed by cars. I gotta move on. So 50 people, we still have this same problem with electric cars and driverless cars. And over here you can see I erased some of the people because we're also gonna have empty cars when we move to having driverless cars. So the space problem does not get improved by the fact that you can go to electric vehicles or you can go to driverless cars. So I think we have to think about sustainability in a different way. It'd be great if we were getting somewhere fast, but we're not. So at rush hour, our average speed is 9.9 miles per hour, which by the way is less than 15.5 miles per hour that you go on a bicycle. We're all wasting 102 hours per year, which amounts to $19 billion in lost revenue if you think about that as productive time. So what are some of the things we can do about this? We can redesign the street and we can redesign the supporting infrastructure around it. So looking at dedicated bus lanes, protected bike lanes, incentivizing right-size mobility, so like golf carts and scooters and that kind of thing. Congestion pricing, extra for empty cars, geofencing the car speed, and looking at dynamic street configurations. We also have to re-examine zoning that obligates car ownership. So here is looking at dynamic reconfiguration of the street that we could do with more data and with driverless cars. So this is an opportunity that we get with driverless cars. So we could, in the morning, look at having at nighttime, we could look at parking the street and having loading, and then as soon as you get into rush hour, you can dedicate more lanes to driving, and then we can look at putting more of the street back into public use at lunchtime or on the weekends. Thank you.